Top G gonna be first up versus Demoniac. Doesn't want to give this man a shot to play the game. Goes in for a full stun into a fear into a haymaker. Just knocks the man on the back of the head as Demoniac trying to see if he can catch up to Top G. Does go in for a trinket. Could be a blind opportunity for Demoniac. Trying to see if he can sit with an evasion. Cannot bypass those defenses as a Fury Warrior. Cannot hit through a target that is evading them. Arms Warriors have better control of the weapons to be able to overpower a rogue. Fury Warriors are just full-on raw power. I can't really connect. Demoniac getting those auto attacks to the wall, building up some comp points, hopefully. He needs himself a good kidney shot and a big go. Top G will not have a trinket for this one, I don't think. And Top G will definitely need some kind of a response here. Cannot catch up to the rogue whatsoever. Full kidney shot. Does he go for a defensive? He may just have to. Does go for it. Trying to see if he can just survive this secret technique. Is this going to be the tech for Demoniac just to hang out by the cart and just auto attack the guy? Tell me you put a rupture on him, because otherwise Top G is going to be able to recover full health. Unless you're just going to be able to. No, he got himself full recovery. For Demoniac, this is not the place he wants to be in. Definitely not the place he wants to be in. But he's down on defenses too. It looks like evasion is up, but it's definitely not. Short stun of Demoniac. Maybe have himself a kidney shot available. Going to be a quick root by Top G. That's going to be Demoniac with a kidney shot. Does lock him down. That's going to be yet another Shadow Blades at the ready. Lots of damage, but Top G is actually just doing fine through the secret techniques. And the Gormos bites Fear onto the rogue. Does he have himself a big setup? I think the stun should probably will be DR for now, right? No, actually, it's a full stun. Top G got himself lots of damage. Blind right after. Does not have a trinket to escape it, but maybe has a leap. Has himself a leap. Is this enough to catch up to Demoniac? Does get to leap yet again with a whirlwind. Is going to be putting up a bleed on again. Demoniac might be in a lot of trouble right now. Does go in for a vanish. Still bleeding out profusely though. That is going to get him out in the open unless he's careful. Goes in for a sap. Please still get him out. Zerka Rage for the Warrior. Kidney shot does meet him, however. Does himself a big enough secret technique. Trying to have himself a bit of a go. Cheap shot right after. Got himself dance. I think Cloak Shot is up. He's going to be able to immune or dodge the Stormbreaker or the Stormbolt. What do I call it? Stormbreaker? It's a Stormbolt into a disarm onto Top G. Does get his weapons back up. It's going to be an evasion for Demoniac. Right now, this is one big defensive, is evasion. That's the only thing that's really giving him a lot of opportunity to potentially do something versus Top G. Kidney shot, immediate trinket. Does not have a blind, I don't think, but he did vanish a couple of times. So by this point, I believe he should be getting blind very, very soon. Does see him big leap, be able to catch back up. Next stun could be very deadly for Demoniac. Needs to find a way to stay away from Top G. Using the card and auto attacking through the card. Disarm it after Fear by Top. Have himself a haymaker. At least able to knock down and stun Demoniac into Stormbolt. That is going to be a stun into another stun. Super DR. Does get a big old bite out of Top G with a secret technique right after. The Warriors just take a beating after beating, but he's trying to see if he can hang in there. Does not get to connect with that shockwave to stun lock. Demoniac does have to go in for a big defensive too. Maybe he can go in for a random leap. No, he's actually just going to go pick up the eyes. He's going to make some space, but also gives him an opportunity to get that second wind rolling, so he's going to be able to recover plenty. I don't know what your trinket situation is, Top G. I know that you won't have your wall for a bit, but if you can get a full stun on the rogue, you might be all right. Especially if you got a lot of damage. Does get a full stun, full burst in the ready. Does get him some big bleeds. Demoniac does have an answer for this one. Shadow Blades in the ready. He's still taking a bit of damage from the blades, trying to heal up a little bit. But Top G is still in the top shape right now. Demoniac not looking all that good. Disarm last second. Demoniac does get hit with a stun as long as Top G keeps him in place. Blind right after. Does he get to break it? Almost looked like he was about to. Oh, he does his auto attack or something. Definitely broke it. He's going to go for yet another leap. Almost crashing right on top of Demoniac. Does he have a bleed? I don't know if he does. No, he's actually clean. Man, if only Fury Warriors had a bit of a longer bleed, I think that would have helped him versus the rogue. But he's already got a bleed build, or as much of a bleed build as he can, between the Odin's Fury, probably running the bleed or the stronger version of that ability. Also got himself the roar as well. Cloak really early for Demoniac though. I'm very surprised. Fear right after for Top G. Might be able to go for a proper stun. Does himself the avatar, a random proc of avatar from the Odin's Fury. It is going to be an invasion for the rogue. Does go for a trinket. Top G with yet another stun. The man does not really have a lot of defenses to work with here. I think maybe has a trinket back up. Disarm for just a moment. If only he could also disarm the rogue right back at him. Does go for the trinket off of this one. Hold on, no blind. Kidney shot. Demonic's playing very defensive. That's going to be lead by the Warrior. Should have a shadow step ready. Should be able to step it. Does not get to step it. Demonic cannot find himself an escape. That's going to be another leap for Top G with a charge to make sure he can always stay on top of Demonic. Does root him in place. There's nowhere for him to go. Hold on, one more step. Does he go for the execute? Wait a second. Hold on. No. Vanish last second. Hold on. He's still slowed. If he's bleeding, he still might be in trouble. He's not bleeding. He's not bleeding. Oh no, Top G almost had him too. Does he have another leap? He knows where the rogue is at. He knows exactly where this man is at. He does get him out in the open at the very least. He's going to be struck by the rogue blind onto the Stormbolt. That is a good use of blind though. That is a good use of blind if he's going to go for reset into a quick get the shot right after as the warrior forces combat right after. Does Demonic have any defenses? That is going to be yet another cheap shot to follow. Secret technique and everything. That's going to be disarm right after. Demoniac into a fear. Top G, full cooldowns ready. Haymaker, they'll go. Does get himself a short stun. Full blades into Demoniac. Is this going to be it? Into a quick execute. I think I'm even a bloodthirsty one. My goodness, does end up toppling the rogue. That was a long one. Trying to go for a stun versus Leezy. Does not want to fight Leezy immediately. I think last time he fought Leezy, he did end up cutting him out entirely. Karma into Alexium. Top G may need to use a fear. Does he have a fear right now? He may need to use everything in order to live this. Does have himself a leap. He needs to wait out the Karma. Second leap as Leezy tried to use mobility. Top G, I think, is just trying to buy himself as much of a breather. Maybe let second one kick in. Leezy does not charge at him. Does he realize there's second wind going to be kicking in? I think Leezy needed to get aggressive. In cap, you can always break it into a stun. That is going to be Zuen joining. Fist of Fury pairing out Top G for just a second. Just needs to wait it out a little bit longer. As long as he's got himself a defensive, he might be okay. Leezy taking hits after hits. Lashing after lashing. Does not have Karma this time around. Got himself dampen harm. Charges. He's trying to go for an escape. It's going to be intercepted. Leezy is on execute range. Is not in a great spot. Top G trying to see if he keeps himself alive without pressing a big defensive. Leezy in the execute does end up getting stricken down. With a Ruas up next. Does he go for a stun? He needs to buy himself as much time as possible. Stun? Fear? Does Ruas? Trinket. Top G is trying to give himself as much time as possible to see if a bleed. I think he has a bleed. I think he does have a bleed. Stun to Ruas, but he is able to immune it. Might be a big defensive for top. He does go for a big defensive. Fell Barrage flying at him. That's going to be big spikes from up above. There's nothing he can do. He's just going to rain down upon us. Over. Oh my goodness. I love how animated the Coltiran death animation is, by the way. Like, he literally like threw his whole body into that green sludge by the cart. It was so good. Beastly trying to get some damage onto Ruas with a few dots here and there. As Ruas, what is this thing he's got going on? Is this a toy? That's got to be a toy, right? There's no way he picked up like a random demonic soul, did ya? Right? It looks like he got that demonic soul like you had back in Shadowlands, but they did remove that talent, I'm sure of it. Mortical into a fear. BC does have full dots onto Ruas. He could just put dots on the guy and just let him sit there. Trying to go for a big old dark glare as well. Has himself a gate in case he needs to look for that fear. It is going to be meta to immune it into an I-beam. Does go for a lockout into a hunt right after. Looking to potentially get the most amount of damage towards BC, but he's got himself a massive drain. It's going to be a wall right after with a port to follow. Might just want to go for a gate, but looking to drain down and execute Ruas if possible. The dots are set in. The Demon Hunter does end up getting himself the kill, but the dots, is not going to be enough to take down the DH. Your blood just gives him a little bit of time. I think Ruas may just die to the dots, right? Especially if it's a full set of dots. He is going to go in, shrink out of Ruas with an immunity, imprison onto the rogue with a misery sigil. Does pick up a little bit of health and is flying up in the air. Blood Dagger needs to find a way to get away. Does go in for a shadow meld. As long as you don't pop out a little bit too early, you shouldn't take any more of those lances into the face. Sap while midair. Ruas cannot really respond to this one anymore. I think it might be lights out for the guy unless he can somehow play around blood. Does he get resapped together? He does go in for a vengeful retreat. If he went for a vengeful retreat and went all around the tombstone, I actually think he would have been able to immune any saps or any CC from the rogue as long as he stayed up in the air. But instead he decided to back up, pick up the eye, but I think it's just over, right? Garma's bite, taking a chunk out of the Demon Hunter, taking him out. Who's up next? Is it going to be Flex? It is going to be Flex. At least Flex trying to give himself potential duel here. The fact that Hunters can no longer remove dots, by the way, is it me or does it feel tragic? Just shock him on to Dagger, does get hit with a stun. Flex trying to go for as many grenades as possible, looking for the Manic Bandage to recover blood. Trying to see if he can find himself a better angle. Evasion was used early by the rogue, so now he no longer has a big defensive to deal with some of the hunter damage. This is going to be Flex with a freezing. Got himself dots. Pets getting sent in. Blood with a Cloak of Shadows really early on, though. And looks like he got himself a clean reset, clean getaway with a cloak and a Vanish That's going to be a Cava out of Flex blind right after. Maybe could at least send the pet a blood dagger, but the rogue at least got himself a guaranteed stun. Does Flex respond? He does go in for turtle shell immediately. It's going to be a trinket with that too. Manic bandage right after. I think, did he go in for a bit of that spear? I think he might have already used the spear. Stun onto the rogue, into a harpoon right after. Death Chakra follow. Got yourself a spear. There goes the spear as the disarm comes out. At least your damage is amplified. And you still see the rogue with a hunter's mark. There's nowhere for him to go. He's still taking decent bit of damage from the dots and the bleeds and the pet itself. You just need one big kill shot on the guy and it's over. Stun. Into a flanking. Cold blood. I mean, she death. Oh. Set up a flagellation on you and try to have himself a go. I like the gusto, but there's just no way you were going to be able to make that one happen. There was just no way. So close, though, dude. So close. So close. Into a full ascendance as Stark decides he's just going to become an absolute Category 5 Hurricane versus Flex. Not going to give him even a chance to even try to withstand it, as Mega Rogue is going to be up next. Getting caught out, though. That's not unfortunate. I like your Mog. It's very, like, low fantasy Mog, minus like daggers that have like a elemental effect on them. Everything else is pretty low fantasy about it. I kind of like it. Cheap shot onto Thark. Full dots are in with a death mark. Thark may be in a lot of trouble. The man may need a wall for this one. That's going to be the rogue getting booped around all over the place. Trying to see if he can avoid the totem. Is able to cloak her shadows out of it. Thark digging his head into the dirt. But it's still not able to remove the dots. It's going to be a wall. Mega Rogue, at least all of his dot damage is kind of gone with a death mark. He still has himself the Garrote, still has quite a bit of setup. That's going to be Mega Rogue getting hit with the Sunder and also a few zaps out of the counter-strike totem. Thark looking to back up out of the Mega, continues to get it zapped up by that thing. No healings available. Oh, is it just dots? Is that what it was? Or did it like shiv him at the end to reduce his healing further? What happened there? Bloody is at least trying to give this man as much of an honor to as possible. The rogue, unless he's got mage food, he can't really sit down and eat. So there's only so much you can do at the moment. Bloody at least trying to give this man as much of an honor to as possible. Mega is not looking for the eye. It's your opportunity. You either can go open on him, or if you want to just sit there and get yourself a couple sippy cups, I'm sure he'll be fine with that. I'm sure he'll be a gentleman about it. That, or he's like anxiously like, oh, please open up, please. Oh no, he does. No, he doesn't. Never mind. He's trying to see if we can get you out in the open. Never mind. Not trying to go for an honor duel. I think he was just really expecting the rogue was just gonna jump him immediately. Deathmark coming back up in 35 seconds. If you can somehow get some cooldowns out of Bloody and then escape his crusade, oh, that's a lot of damage taken. Mega does go in for a trinket into a blind or the Bloody, but will not be able to guide himself a reset into a dance right after. Looking for dots, blind to follow, searing glare, does not have an escape, and the rogue I think is just done for the count. Try to go for a kidney shot. I saw that thing. That, or he's trying to see if he can hit him with a disarm, but does end up going down. 2 for Ruas, 2 for Tom G, who did. Look at that healing. Look at that. I mean, second wind does a lot of healing for you, but man, I know you weren't able to heal entire second wind versus the rogue. That was a lot of healing in general, though. Let's get us another one going here, yeah?